there's a lingering rumour, and it just doesn't go away, about Koulibaly. And it's like you said, Reece, Ake's a good player. And if you said to me Ake was going to an Arsenal or Spurs, I'd be like, oh, that's a good move for them. It's a good look, because he'd be better than what's there. Is he better than John Stones? If you have a fully fit, focused John Stones, he's a good player. Like you said, Reece, Ake just got relegated with Bournemouth. He brings something to that squad. But I think he is going to be back up for Laporte. I just don't see how they both play in the same side consistently. I think that there is another big transfer on the horizon for City, and I think it'll be Koulibaly. What's your take, Beck?
Yeah. Would it be right in saying that Ake and Laporte are both left-sided centre-halves?
They are indeed, right? Yeah, they are indeed.
So I'm pretty sure that Ake isn't bought in mind to him play alongside Laporte. It wouldn't make too much sense. And again, like Reece kind of mentioned, the transfer itself doesn't make a lot of sense to me for a couple of reasons. So firstly, like you mentioned, financially, they are under the microscope, and obviously they do need to be a little bit careful. So spending £40 million on someone who is essentially going to be most likely a backup seems a little odd to me. And like you say, is he better than John Stones on his day? Some would argue. Is he better than Otamendi? And then they've got obviously Garcia there as well. So if I was City and I was going to sign a centre half, Ake wouldn't have been on my list, right? And we all say this time and time again about levels, and the level that he's currently at is a totally different level to what City are at and are aiming to get back to. And can people elevate their level and performance? Yes, they can, and they have done. But it's a big ask for someone like Nathan Ake. He's scrapping at the bottom of the league, conceding 65 goals, and they've done that pretty consistently the last few seasons as well. To be called upon and just raise his game a lot for Premier League and possibly Champions League. And, will they have the ball more? Yes. Do they get ripped open as often as Bournemouth City? No, obviously not. But it doesn't make a huge deal of sense to me, and I think it's quite a large sum of money to spend on someone like that.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it, lads?
And also as well, from a City perspective, he doesn't appear to show any leadership traits. And with regards to where City need to be and where they are, I think there was a 20-point gap between Liverpool and Man City last year. And they've got to sign players that are going to narrow that gap, if not eliminate that gap altogether. And he isn't one. Chelsea didn't want him, and Chelsea have some of the top scouts, and only the best young players make it at Chelsea. And they didn't want him. So why does City want him? It doesn't.
Guardiola's judgment on defenders is a little bit out still. When you look at the money he spent, there was a stat, I think it's around 400 million. Ake definitely adds something, but I'm with you, lads. I'm not sure what it is yet. And I think price-wise, Bournemouth will be coming away from that thinking, we've done all right from that, in fairness.
Yeah. I don't think Ake adds enough of what they need at this time. And with Guardiola, he has a mixed track record in terms of, so he can sign a player like Ake, and there's been examples of where he's signed players or put players in positions and they've become fantastic. But then there's examples of where it hasn't quite worked out the same way. So maybe Guardiola has got a plan for him. Maybe he wants to work him in somewhere, and I'm sure it looks like we're going to see. But it was definitely question marks from me for that one.